Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. For those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, welcome back. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. For those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment, I am here live with you all every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And for those of you who are watching the replay on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe to the page. So thanks to those who are starting to join here. Let me know where you are tuning in from today in the chat. And for those of you who are new, I reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, and I am, yes, here in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. I'm like trying to think week to week. It's been just a busy, crazy fall season so far. So I'm trying to keep track for myself where I am located each week to week, but it's all good. But again, thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from today. Let's see, a couple of announcements. Actually, before I do announcements, if you are new to Mental Health Moment, let me tell you what Mental Health Moment is all about. Mental Health Moment is all about how do you work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you. So again, we're here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you ever miss a live, the replays are on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page. You can head over there, subscribe, put on the notifications, and you'll get the notification when the replay is available for the mental health moments. Okay, so quickly, my announcements for you all today before I start today's mental health moment. In case you haven't heard, because I have been telling you all for, I don't know, I feel like months maybe. I can't believe it. It's this Friday, you all. This Friday, October 24th, 2025. In case you're watching this video later on, this Friday, I'll be hosting my second annual Growth Mindset and Self-Care Summit. It will be live this year in person. Last year was virtual. This year it is live in person. So I'll get to see some of your beautiful smiling faces. But it will be in Atlanta, Georgia. It is not too late to get your tickets, but we only have a certain amount of tickets left, and tickets will not be sold at the door because they just won't be because of a lot of the logistics that we have to put in place for this event. But I do have a couple of slots left, so you can go to mindsettrainingsummit.com to register. Again, it's mindsettrainingsummit.com to register. Also, there's a QR code here on the screen. For BWE family, if you use the code BWE100, you can get $100 off your ticket. It's an all-day event. We're going to have food. We're going to have fun. We're going to laugh. We're going to be in community with each other. We're going to learn. It's going to be a great day. I'm very excited and honored to be hosting. This year will be in Atlanta. We'll see where it's at next year. But for this year, it's in Atlanta. So again, mindsettrainingsummit.com is where you can go to register. This is literally, the last mental health moment where I'll be talking about this because, like I said, it is this Friday, October 24th. So there's literally only a couple days left, which is insane to me because time has really flown this year. I cannot believe we are almost at the end of the year, you all. But nonetheless, I hope to see you there again. It's going to be such a great day. I'm so excited. I've spoken to all the speakers. They're excited. It's just going to be an amazing day, and I'm super excited. And I hope to see some of you all there. But thanks for those who are joining here. Dr. Hammond with your mental health moment. Be sure to let me know where you are tuning in from in the chat. And I'm trying to think if I have any other announcements. Not as yet. I do, but I'll wait. I have some. I'll wait because there's some things that are still pending that I can't wait to share with y'all, but I need to make it official before I share it. But it's good things coming up, which I will share with you all as soon as it's finished. But nonetheless, so today's mental health moment, I wanted to talk to you all about, so a gazillion years ago, it feels like, when I was in graduate school, we learned this thing called protective factors, right? And protective factors just means that there are certain things that you may have heard, like when it comes to like heart disease or diabetes or things like that, right? There's risk factors. So it might be your family history, it might be your diet, it might be exercise, all these sorts of things. Well, on the mental health side and physical side too, but since I'm talking about mental health today, we also have things on the other side of that called protective factors, meaning there are good things going on with you that can help you to reduce your stress level, to reduce your anxiety, to help prevent certain conditions, things like that, right? So, one of the things could be like having a good level of social support, which we talk a lot about on mental health moment. That's a like, there's so much research on how good of a protective factor that is, meaning when you have whatever your support system looks like, whether it is your friends, your family members, your coworkers, your neighbors, your maybe someone at a place of worship, your therapist, whomever it is for you, having those groups of people that really can help you get through is a really huge protective factor, right? Thanks for joining from Virginia. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Actually, thanks for joining. So on today's mental health moment, though, I wanted to talk to you all about purpose as a protective factor because sometimes when we go through our days, there can be so much going on. I think I talked at length about that on mental health moment, right? Like we and you're not alone, but we tend to like gloss through our days and maybe it's a hustle bustle. Maybe you have kids or you have grandkids or you have work or you have school or, all the things that we have that we're just very busy or there's a to-do list, all these sorts of things. But it's really, really also important to make sure we take a step back and one of the things to think about is our purpose, right? So I'm going to share with you 3 tips today so you can understand how your purpose, if you will, can be what we call a protective factor for your mental health, right? So a positive thing in your life where you can say, "Hey, let me try to really hone in on this. Let me add this to my toolbox," right? My toolkit that we all have, our coping resources that we all have to try to get through, right? So, the first thing I hope for you, and for those of you taking notes, this is the time to take your notes. Right. So the first tip is to really think about, and you've heard it before, but like really think about your why. Meaning, there's things that you do in your daily life. There's things that you do like weekly or monthly, and you have to really ask yourself, like, why why am I doing this? Right. But like, why does it really matter to you? Right. So, whatever it is, I talk at length about self care on mental health moment because it's very important. And a lot of us neglect it till we make that 180. But it's like the why, right? So I know many of you before have shared in the chat some of your whys, right? Like the things that you do, why it's meaningful for you. Maybe it's if you believe in prayer, maybe it's taking deep breaths, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's gardening. I'm just thinking of all your responses that you all normally put in here, like for your self care to say that you're worthy and that you deserve to have self care and that you can honor yourself. Like you're allowed to have that, right? But again, when you really continue to think about that why like with a lot of your daily actions and be intentional. Again, I can't stress that enough. Like be intentional with your self-care. Be intentional with what I call our holistic self-care. Be intentional with the daily actions that you do. I read this thing. I don't even know where I remember. I just read a lot. So sorry. I don't remember. Apologize. I don't remember the source. Oh, but I read this thing that was just sharing how and I strongly believe this, but we get so caught up in the larger things to do and how we move forward when we're thinking about growth and those sort of things, and we really miss the impact of the daily actions that we do. The small steps, the 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 habits, the daily actions, the reasons we're doing things, right? Because you're telling yourself all sorts of things. It may not be true, but we tell ourselves all sorts of things throughout the day even in things that are healthy and good for us, right? So if let's say you're like, I want to lose weight, for example, and right? We know like change your diet, maybe exercise more, like maybe you need to cut out sweets or whatever it is for you that you need to do, even even sometimes when you're doing those things, which are good things to be conscious of your physical health, sometimes your mind might be telling you all sorts of things about a good habit that you have like, why am I really doing this? Right. Or I don't know if I can, or the self doubt, all these sorts of things come out. Right. So, going back to again, our purpose and our why, it's really important for you to keep top of mind, like remembering why you're doing this. even if you have to use affirmations, for some of you, you use affirmations already, which is great. And affirmations, if for those of you who aren't sure, is literally like statements that you can tell yourself to remind yourself, I am worthy. I deserve to be emotionally healthy. I deserve to have joy. I deserve, XYZ area of my life, maybe that you're working on, like you're deserving of those things. And, what else, right? So that's the first tip, is to really hone in on remembering your why for many different areas of your life, right? The second thing is, and hey, though, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Before I get to the second tip, let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Depending on the week, technology does what it wants to do. So today, I think it's just not for now going to show me your comments, but it does sometimes just pop up later. Um, so still let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. I like to see where you guys are tuning in from, but sometimes I can't read your comments and I'm so sorry. Like today, I see like 2 comments. I know there's obviously more comments. So if they do pop up, then I'll definitely give you a shout out. If they decide to pop up. But if you're just not tuning in today, on today's mental health moment, we're talking about um, the value of what's called a protective factor, which means a lot of times I feel like we constantly hear actually about risk factors. Like, here's a risk factor for this particular condition. Your whatever, your nutrition or your exercise or your family history or whatnot. Like, we always hear all the risk factors, but there's also something called protective factors, right? There's also things that are like good that's happening in your life that can protect you, right, from certain things. Hey, from Maryland, thanks so much for joining here. Now they're trickling in. The comments are trickling in. Seattle's in the house. Welcome. Oh, that's so far from me in Florida. It's a very long trip. I took that trip a couple times. It's a long trip to get to Seattle, but it's all good. Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. So that's what we're talking about today: protective factors, and especially thinking about purpose as your protective factor. So the second thing is to really keep in mind. I feel like you know what these are in your heart, but like to really keep in mind, what are your values? Meaning, what are the things that are most important to you when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to your non-negotiables, right? So, and let me know in the chat. Oh, another person from Seattle. Seattle's popular today. Hey, Seattle people. Let me know in the chat too, like maybe what are some of your non-negotiables? And what I mean by that is, especially when we talk about mental health and wellness and self-care, hopefully by now, and if you don't have it by now, it's okay. You can add it in to your life. You have things that are just non-negotiables, whatever they may be. It might be like, I have to what? Like, I have to eat right, or I have to make sure I spend time with my friends and family, or I have to make sure I'm doing a particular morning routine, or I have to, right? Like, what are the things that are non-negotiables for you? Because if you really think about your true values and your purpose, then I'm hoping that you have some non-negotiables that for these particular things in this area of your life, it's going to help you become a better version of yourself, right? It's going to help you with your self-care. It's going to help you in your personal growth, right? I hope the goal for all of us is to move forward and be better than yesterday and work on having better self-care and having better mental health. And you can do those things by doing your best to stick to your non-negotiables. Hi from UK. Welcome, welcome. Peterborough in the east of England, UK. Hi. Welcome, welcome. I wonder where that is. I don't think I know where that's at, but that's super cool. So welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment, in case you all are just tuning in. We're going through a couple of tips today about how you can make purpose as one of the things to kind of almost make your superpower a little bit, right? Like, what are mental health moment is all about? How do you add more things into your toolkit? So you can work on, how do you cope better? How do you deal better? How do you become a better version of who you are? Because it's very possible, but we have to put things in place, right? That's a reality. Oh, I love that. Someone said my peace and joy are non-negotiable. I love that. Hi from Florida with the palm tree. Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining. I love that so much. I hope for many of you, so all of us have different non-negotiables, but I do hope that you know what that is. And if you don't, that might be your journey right now to be like, you know what? I don't have any non-negotiables. Well, then maybe that's your step to be like, okay, let me figure out what I need at this stage of your life, because what you need today may not be what you needed 10 years ago or 10 years from now. But today, what are your non-negotiables? So that might be your step, or you might already know what your non-negotiable is. If you do know what your non-negotiable is, then your challenge, if you will, might be setting the boundaries for you so you can make sure that you're allowing yourself to be true, right? To your values and your non-negotiables. So for example, hi from Georgia, welcome. Um so for example, if you are saying, for example, or someone say, yeah, healthy boundaries are my non-negotiables. So if that is true for you, things pop up, they just do, right? Then how are you doing your best to stay the course of what you said you valued and what you said you believed in, right? So that's something that's really, really important. I'm so glad. Thank you guys for sharing in the chat here. Hi from that consulting group. Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. If you're just tuning in, a couple people are writing in the chat just what are some of your non-negotiables if you know them already. And again, if you're at a place where you're like, oh, I don't really know what my non-negotiables are when it comes to things that you can do for you to better yourself, for your personal development, for your holistic self-care, as I say, then it's all good, right? Like that might be your step. Um, and then the third tip today that I want to leave you with when you think about purpose. This is a huge one, actually. It's one of my favorite steps to think about, or tips to think about when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to how do I work on protecting my energy? How do I work on protecting my mental health? A lot of times, and which is important, a lot of times we look inward at the things we need to change, which is good, but also sometimes we need to look outward. And what I mean by that is you also have to think about the third tip of the day is your acts of service, if you will. Like how are you helping others? And I know it seems weird because you're like, wait a minute, I thought I'm talking about myself, right? But you still are. Like there's a ton of research on it too. But when you think about how are you giving back, whether you're mentoring someone, whether you're helping a friend, whether you're volunteering in the community, like there's a lot of different ways for you to, right, be of service to others. But in that step, whatever it is for your purpose, in that step, you're also working on your mental health as well. Right. So gosh, when I think of volunteering, there's just so many areas. I'm a big fan and advocate of volunteer in the areas that you are like to do that you like to do, and you have passion for it. Like there's there's so much need in the world, you all, for volunteering. I will say I just there's so much need out there that you might as well do things you enjoy and that bring you joy too, right? So whether you're into, I don't know, saving the planet, you're into the environment, if you want to help people who um have food insecurities, if you want to have people who don't have homes at this time, if you want to have help kids, if you I mean, right? Like there's so much need in the world. Um so, and again, it doesn't have to be formal volunteering. It could be, but it can also be that neighbor of yours, that coworker of yours, that cousin or sister or brother, whomever of yours that's like, man, I really just need some help. And you're helping them. Like, but that's something that again, it of course it helps the person in front of you, which is amazing, but you are also helping yourself to really be thinking about like, what is my purpose? Like, how can I help someone? How can I serve? And in that way, you are also helping yourself. Okay. It's actually not 100% about them. It feels like it, but it's not. Like that's a way that you also can grow as a person, right? That's the goal here, right? We're trying to be better. Virginia's in the house. Welcome. Someone said helping the homeless. Beautiful. So again, there's the need is great. Like, have we been on social media lately? I mean, like the need there's massive need. We know that, right? To help one another in some way. Um, so little PSA here, please. Again, when you really think about your purpose and thinking about where is it that you feel called, maybe it's a calling for you or not, maybe it's a kind of just something that you're like, I've been thinking about what helping in whatever area, like there's just so much need. But again, really when you think about when you think outside of yourself, right? Like you think of serving others and you think of being of service outside of yourself, that is it's kind of like a bonus because you're helping people and you have mental health and wellness benefits as well. Okay. So, oh, I love that. Someone said, I enjoy mentoring young adults. Beautiful. And we all, what's funny? Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys saw that. I think it went viral. It's so funny how we all have our love of like a particular group sometimes. So I saw this video on, I think it was on Instagram or something, and I think it went viral. And it was this lady, this young adult actually, and she was like dancing and entertaining. You might have seen it. She was dancing and entertaining people at a nursing home, right? Because she really loved geriatric populations. She really loved the elderly. So she was dancing and like entertaining them, and you could just see the audience in the nursing home, like they were excited and they're happy, and like that was her thing, right? Like maybe for you, you're like, I want to help out in a nursing home. Maybe for you, it's like I want to help out in a school with kids, or I want to, right? Like we all have our, I don't know. I also knew another colleague that anyways, I just think back to her and she had some physical health conditions in her life, and because of that, a lot of her volunteering is centered around people with the same particular conditions and trying to help them, right? So because that was something personal that happened to her, and she was like, let me help this particular group of people. So again, there's not a right or wrong. It's just a matter of like, where is your heart? Like, who do you want to help? There's a lot of people that need help, right? Who do you want to help, and how are you able to serve in that way? um Yes. Oh, that's so true. Someone said, amazing. And it does allow you to forget your own problems. That is the truest thing. I'm so glad you brought that up. That is so true. Temporarily, maybe for a lot of us, like, especially when you may volunteer or be helping someone in a very dire situation that you may have never experienced before. So maybe you have experienced it or not. It can sometimes just change your perspective sometimes and give you a different sense of your own life. You might even have more gratitude because you're like, you know what? I'm grateful for, wherever your life is at. And it just exists, right? There's people with different hardships than us. So you might have a more sense of gratitude. You might be thinking to yourself, you know what, like, why am I worrying about my problems when there's like bigger problems in the world? Like all those sorts of things start to happen, which is pretty amazing actually. I shared this on mental health moment before. Actually, I'm glad someone brought that up. I'm sure I shared this on mental health moment before, but there was I don't even know, maybe a couple months ago. Time is, I don't know, y'all. Time is like, I feel like time is flying. So I'm like, wait, what month was that? I can't keep up. But anyways, sometime this year, I was volunteering at this food bank, and I don't know, probably having a bad day or something like that. And I just remember being there, and just there's something that happened mentally that day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really sitting here stressing about, like, in the bigger scheme of life, like stressing about minor things when here I am when we're anyways organizing, doing different things, and the food bank for people who were struggling in some way, let's say for this particular group of people with accessing food, right? Like there's just levels to our stress sometimes. So again, when we serve others, and it doesn't have to be that example, but when we serve others and help others, we really do help ourselves in turn too. And it's kind of cool how that happens. Good evening from San Francisco. Welcome back. Thanks for joining here. Beautiful greetings from this side of the world. I don't know what that means, but welcome, whatever side of the world you're on. It's all good though. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So today I'm going to wrap up here. But today we've been talking about really thinking about your purpose, and there's different ways to think about purpose and think about how you can allow that, the why or your values or serving others, how you can allow that those types of things to be a protective factor for you, right? Like the goal is, I always say, we want to have like, this analogy of like mental armor almost. So again, if you think of like a knight in shining armor, they literally have a like physical armor, right? But like mentally, like when you think about creating this almost like this mental armor, like we have to build up our coping resources to get through life, Mean, like, right? Life is just gonna life sometimes. Like, just things happen. We're like, what? But the more you can build up, it's a muscle, you all. The more you can build up your resilience, the more you can build up your protective factors. You do those sorts of things to protect yourself mentally. Because we talk all the time, as I wrap up here, we talk all the time. I hear it everywhere. We talk all the time, which is important too. But we talk all the time about how to protect our physical bodies all the time. I have seen, I don't even know how many videos, right? Like of like, here's what you need to eat, and here's how much sleep you need, and here's how much exercise we need, which are great things. Please take care of your physical body too. But also you have to be taking care of your mind too, right? You have to be thinking about, how do I protect my energy? How do I protect my wellness? How do I protect my mindset? Right? Like we have to be in those conversations with ourselves too. So no, someone said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Someone said, my pappy's in the hospital. I'm so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. Condolence. I mean, just yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that about that family member in the hospital. So prayers for them for sure. Hope they are well soon. Someone else said, "I'm sorry, I'm just joining the show. Please, if you don't mind what the show's all about." Okay, all good. Well, we're actually wrapping up, but I will share the mental health moment. We are here, or I am here. I said we because we're all together. We're here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And don't worry, I know you're just tuning in. The replays for Mental Health Moment are always on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page. The spelling's right here. But Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page, you can get the replays on there. And today we're wrapping up, but we talked about how you can think about your purpose, to really think about it being what we call a protective factor, or thinking of it being something that can help you through your wellness journey, frankly. And there's a lot of tips to that. So definitely be sure to watch the replay. Ooh, I love that. Someone was quoting a scripture and saying how the scripture was saying we should put on the spiritual armor. Absolutely. Absolutely. Spiritual armor, mental, emotional, physical. We need it all, y'all. Okay. As I wrap up here, mindsettrainingsummit.com. Don't forget, this is literally the not even last week, last couple of days. If you're planning to be at the summit, please get your tickets. They will not be sold at the door. It is this Friday, October 24th in Atlanta. It's my growth, mindset, and self-care summit, which is in person this year. It's an all-day event. I'm elated to be hosting in person this year. So I get to see all of you all that'll be there. But the QR code, I think I'm pointing the right way. No, I'm not. Okay, over here. The QR code is up there too, but it's mindsettrainingsummit.com. You can use BWE100 for $100 off your ticket. Friday, October 24th. Tickets will not be sold at the door. So get your ticket. You have like, today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, 2 days left. If you are planning on coming, so grab your tickets. I hope to see you there, meet you there. And it's all good. Oh no, someone else said I came late. It's all good. For those of you who are tuning in, so again, I'm live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you came in a little late, it's all good. You can always watch the replay on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube. And like, I don't even know how many years. Many years of the past replays are on there. So choose a topic that resonates with you, and you can always watch the replays. But thank you so much for joining. Even if you came a little late, it's all good. I will see you all next Tuesday after the event. I'll see you all next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Be blessed. Have an amazing week. Help someone this week. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.